Hi, I'm Janelle from JanelleKnutson.com, and I'm here answering another question, another homeschool question. Today's question is, how do I survive being with my kids 24/7? And the truth is that we're not really with our kids 24/7, but it sure feels like it, especially when you compare yourself to other moms who send their kids to the public school or a private school. So what do we do to avoid homeschool mom burnout? Well, I want to give you some practical tips, but first I just want to share a couple struggles that I have with being with my kids a lot. The first one is that when I'm feeling just overwhelmed, it's usually because I'm really seeing my kids as a burden instead of a blessing. I think that's something that's really easy for us moms to do. We see those little ones as something that's keeping us from getting the house clean or getting the schoolwork done. Um, we're seeing them as really just a burden, and we just want to push them out of the way so that we can get on to the more important things in life. And we really need to take time to stop and see them as the blessing that God has intended them to be. And I know that one of the ways that my kids are a huge blessing to me is they really help me get rid of all the sin in my heart, all the impatience and the selfishness that's there is really exposed when I'm around my kids a lot. And so God uses them to really grow me and make me more like Christ. The other thing that I find is that I always, um, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I really say, okay, I need alone time, or I'm not going to be able to survive this next week, or this next minute, or this next day. And so I've really made being alone an idol. Instead of saying, actually, what I really need to survive this moment is God's presence. And alone time would be nice, but what I really need is God's presence. And so a lot of times we can make alone time, time away from our kids, an idol and put that above um, really seeking God in the chaos of the day. And the other thing is feeling entitled to alone time. We really don't deserve alone time. God definitely wants to bless us with time to ourselves and time to refresh and time away from our kids. I mean, homeschooling or just being a mom doesn't mean that we have to be chained to our kids 24/7, but we definitely want to make sure that we don't see alone time as something that we're entitled to. Because when we have that entitlement mentality, at least for me, then when I get time alone, I don't really appreciate it. And when I don't have it, I'm pretty grumpy and pretty bitter, usually towards my husband because he gets to leave and go to work. But when I view alone time as a gift, something that I don't deserve, but that God wants to bless me with, when I have that alone time, I am definitely more thankful for it and I enjoy it a lot more. And when I don't get it, it's not that big of a deal. I just say, hey, you know what? God's with me in this moment right now, in this chaos, helping me to love on my kids and to find joy in my kids. So those are just a couple things that I struggle with when I'm thinking about having to be with my kids 24/7. Hopefully those are helpful for you. But I do want to give you some practical tips to avoid homeschool mom burnout because we are with our kids a lot more than the average mom. And so here are some things that you can do. First of all, join a support group, a homeschool support group. Be around other moms that can encourage you. And I think a lot of times we join a homeschool support group for our kids so that they can find friends. But we really need to find friends for ourselves. And I like to have one or two moms that I can email or call up or text and just say, hey, I am having a crazy day. I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Could you pray for me? I know you're busy, but could you pray for me really quickly on the phone so that you have somebody that can encourage you in the heat of the moment. Another thing is to find another mom maybe who you can swap childcare with. Perhaps there's another homeschooling mom who has kids about the same age as your kids, and you can watch her kids for a few hours one week so she can go get some things done and have some alone time, and then she can watch your kids the next week for a few hours so that you can have some alone time as well. Another thing to avoid homeschool mom burnout is to have a stop time in your homeschool day to say, okay, at this time of the day, no matter how much we've gotten accomplished, we are going to stop and just be done with it. And the kids are going to go out and play. And so I can get some of the other things done that I need to, maybe just take a little breather. And so that's a good idea. also to schedule in some breather days. A lot of times we just um, pack up our homeschool schedule day after day after day we're homeschooling. And so I say schedule in some breathers. Maybe that's like Fridays you don't homeschool, and that's just a day to catch up on things that you need to catch up on, or to send your kids over to a friend's house to play so that you have some time to yourself. Maybe you do school 3 weeks and then you have one whole week off, and so that you're not so overwhelmed with homeschooling. So these are just a few ideas. One other one is obviously to have your husband help you care for the kids maybe on the weekend or in the evening so that you can have a little bit of a break. Now, I know that there's a lot of other great ideas out there for how to avoid homeschool mom burnout. So I would love for you to stop by my website, leave me a little comment on the blog post that goes with this video, and let me know, how do you avoid homeschool mom burnout? How do you survive being with your kids almost 24/7? Thanks for watching, and for more answers to your homeschool questions, visit www.janelleknutson.com.